guys, and welcome to my room. So, today I thought that it would be a cool idea that I would share with you guys my favorite bands. And this was a little bit hard considering I have a lot of band interests, so I'm just going to go with my top 10. Not in any particular order because I just can't decide on which one is my absolute favorite. It is like literally impossible for me to decide. I started out with Black Veil Brides, and you may think that that's really weird, I guess, but I mean, I was in 8th grade when I first started listening to them, and it started out with Knives and Pens, and then I started listening to The Legacy, and soon enough I was listening to their whole entire album. And that's what got me into this type of music. Actually, after 8th grade, when I started going to high school, I ended up wearing a lot of pink, and as you can see by my wall, I painted my room pink because I was determined to get out of this phase, and I wanted to be like all the popular girls in high school, and that didn't really work out too good because right in sophomore year I sunk right back into the metalheads, and I started listening to the music again because it's the one music that I actually really like. So that's what's all started it with Black Veil Bride, so good stuff. The next band I'm going to talk about, I have liked for a long time, even before Black Veil Brides, and that is the Beatles. Surprise, surprise. I have loved the Beatles ever since I found out of their existence when I was in elementary school, because I have some weird obsession with England, and like, I don't know. I actually kind of liked One Direction at one time because they were British. I actually went to England, and I went to Abbey Road, and like, that was the most like, I don't know, like I was just like in Beatle heaven, because like I actually got to walk on Abbey Road like the same way in the Beatles album Abbey Road. I saw their recording studio where they recorded Abbey Road, and I got to walk around Soho and Canterbury Street, and I was just like, we were on this Beatles tour, and I was wishing I was like at the British invasion, like during that time, wanting to be one of those like Beatles fans and stuff, because they would perform a lot in the streets, and I don't know, I did have a picture of my friends and I on Abbey Road, but I lost it, and I'm so upset that I lost it. But I am determined to go back there and go on Abbey Road again, because that was like something on my bucket list that I was so happy that I did. My first song I ever heard of them was probably Here Comes the Sun, and my favorite song by them has to be either Penny Lane or I Wanna Hold Your Hand. I can play both of those on my piccolo, and I really want a ukulele so I can start playing some songs and stuff from them. So yeah, Beatles number 2. My next favorite band has to be also when I started discovering all these different types of rock and roll. Why do I keep saying that? Like, I don't know. But like the alternatives lifestyle and emo, I guess, has to be My Chemical Romance, obviously. So I was just starting out in the marching band They allowed 8th graders who were in their last year of middle school to join the high school marching band. So, of course, my first song I've ever heard was Welcome to the Black Parade, because I was in marching band. I had to see if there was any songs about marching bands, because I was a weirdo, so... But that song actually got me into My Chemical Romance, and I can't really decide my favorite song by them, but if I really had to choose my absolute favorite song, I guess it'd have to be Famous Last Words. Yeah, probably that one. Next band, and I'm actually wearing a band tee of them. Right here. It says, "We are the poisoned youth," so Fall Out Boy. The first song I ever heard by Fall Out Boy was Sugar We're Going Down, and this was also in 8th grade. Literally, most of these bands that I've loved since 8th grade, so I was like 12, 13 years old when I found out about these bands. Anyway, so Sugar We're Going Down was the first song I ever heard by Fall Out Boy. And I do actually really like their new album. I actually really wanted to see them in concert this year. But my dad got me tickets to see his favorite bands from the 80s, like Def Leppard and Styx. But yeah, so my favorite song by Fall Out Boy currently right now that I'm obsessed with is Uma Thurman. Like, that is like a total dance song. Like, every time I hear it, I have to like dance or like create a mosh pit of one. I don't know. But yeah. But I do also really like Infinity on High. Like, that album is like will always be my #1 album. Like, you can never go wrong with that album. It is like one of the best albums ever. This band is Falling in Reverse, and I then found out that Ronnie Radke, because I love him so much, so I had to like look him up on Wikipedia or whatever. I am not one of those crazy fangirls. Anyway, so I looked him up, and I found out that he used to be a lead singer for Escape the Fate. So both Falling in Reverse and Escape the Fate are in my top 10. I do like the old Escape the Fate with Ronnie Radke in it, but their new lead singer is also cool, so. The first song I ever heard from Falling in Reverse, and Falling in Reverse I actually did find out they existed in high school. I know I'm extremely late, but I found out when their album Fashionably Late came out, so that was the first album I've ever heard by them, but my favorite song is probably Goodbye Graceful. Yeah, the first song I ever heard was probably Game Over, because I just looked them up on YouTube and I'm just like, oh look, Game Over, it's a song about video games, let me hear it. And then for Escape the Fate, I love the Guillotine songs, like this, like The War Is Ours, The Aftermath, The Guillotine. I love all those songs. And I do like the fourth one that Ronnie Radke made in Falling in Reverse in their newest album, which I do also love, Chemical Prisoner, because like that song speaks to me. But yes, so I know that was like a jumble of two bands in one, but like two bands that I like, so yeah. The next one, I know I should have said this one earlier because I'm like freaking in love with their lead singer, but sadly he's married with a kid, so I'm sorry that can't happen. But Sleeping with Sirens. I love Sleeping with Sirens. I'm literally obsessed with Madness right now. I love the song Kick Me. I love the song Go Go Go. I love November Rain. That song like makes me cry every time. But Kellen Quinn, like, marry me, Kellen Quinn. But sadly he's already married, so And I'm too young. I'm only 17. Ugh. Oh well. Hopefully there's some person who looks like Helen so I can marry them. But yeah, so my first song that I ever heard by Sleeping with Sirens is Postcards and Polaroids. And I also heard, and like my favorite song from like that album is probably Low. My favorite song from their album Feel is probably Low, and like, cause that song I heard, it was like, Let Love Bleed Red, and then I listened to Low, and I was just like, Sleeping with Sirens is God. Why didn't I discover them before? Because I also found out they only existed like 3 years ago, so I am really late on my bands. But like I said, I had that One Direction phase where that's all I would listen to, and that was very scary, and I do not want to go back into those ages. I mean, I still have a CD of them. CD! And I have a blanket and a poster of Louis Tomlinson. If that doesn't scream, I used to be obsessed, then I don't know what does. And then another band who I freaking adore as much as Sleeping with Sirens is Bring Me the Horizon. Bring Me the Horizon like is the most like screamo band I will ever listen to. The first song I ever heard, I think, is Roar. I don't know. Either that or Suicide Season. I don't remember because it was a while ago. But my favorite song by them is probably Drown or Crucify Me. I'm not quite sure, but I think Drown wins that one. Next band, don't worry, I have only like 2 more bands left. This one is I kind of should talk about them when I was talking about Fall Out Boy, but I did know about these people in 8th grade, so I do know about them. Don't worry. Panic at the Disco, like, Brendan Urie, please. I love you so much. But the first song I ever heard by them is actually not I Write Sins Not Tragedies. That is not the first song I ever heard by them. The first song I ever heard by them is actually Sarah Smiles. I know, it's weird. I haven't heard of I Write Sins Not Tragedies until, like, I listened to the entire album. But yeah, my favorite song by them, the one that just like comes to my mind like right now is like This Is Gospel and Nicotine, like those songs. But I do like their newest song, Hallelujah. Like, that song I listened to a lot, and I actually put in my previous video, because I feel like that's a good painting song. I don't know. But here comes the last band, and this band is also quite old. They're not as old as the Beatles, but they are quite old. And the last one is Misfits. The first song I ever heard by them was Die Die My Darling. But my favorite song has to be Dig Up Her Bones. Like, that song, like, I am like always listening to it. It's like one of the Misfits songs that I put on repeat. But yeah, so those are my top 10 bands, and if you would like to leave a comment down below on what your favorite bands are. If I don't really know them, I'll definitely go and listen to them. Like, I am very open with listening to new bands because I like music. And if you would like, and if there are some songs that, if there are some bands that I mentioned that you don't know, you can go and look them up because they are pretty rad. Yeah. So yeah, so that's my video on my favorite bands, and I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was fun being able to talk about my interests and sharing with you. So, yep. So leave a comment down below on your favorite bands and all, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!